Some of the ladies from Channel 13 talking tonight about women in the media. That's why Felicia is not here. Welcome inside the comfy confines of the Channel 13 studios as we get ready for snow tonight with Angela. We're going to have a friend of the show, Rachel Krause, joining us tonight. We're going to talk about the governor's plan of eliminating textbook fees and how GOP lawmakers feel about the governor's plan, some of the questions there. So that's a big topic for a lot of you tonight. So hang in there for that, and we do want to talk about snow.
Yeah, we'll start with radar. We had a soggy day.
Yeah, it sure was.
Ended up with a ½ inch to an inch of rain widespread. There were some inch and a half total south, and now we turn our attention to the cold air that's arriving, squeezing out already a few snow showers across parts of Wisconsin and northern Illinois. That's what we're going to watch. The waters of Lake Michigan also still open. We haven't had enough cold air for there to be enough ice. So what that means, we get a northerly flow of air over Lake Michigan and the potential for these lake effect snow streaks. That's basically what we have in the forecast for tomorrow. So you can put the umbrellas away for now, but grab the heavy coat. We'll be in the upper 20s and low 30s. Could have a couple of slick roads early tomorrow morning, and then we'll be dodging just these little bursts of snow off and on most of the day. And it is going to be a cold day with temperatures in the 30s. We're not forecasting a lot of snow, but similar to what we've had in the past. If you get under a burst of snow, it'll reduce visibility, coat the ground quickly. We're not expecting widespread significant snow by any means. It would be a coating up to an inch if you would get under a burst that lasts a little longer, but that's about it.
Okay.
And it's Friday, and we look ahead to the weekend. Some sunshine Saturday, and 40s are back on Sunday.
Really?
So really,
nice.
We're going to cool down the next couple of days,
okay,
but no significant sign that the chill sticks around.
Okay. We want you to stick around tonight because we know in our afternoon meeting, we talked about this whole governor plan about eliminating textbook fees for kids K through 12. And so today at the Indiana State House, lawmakers from the Republican Party talking about how they felt about it. We're going to keep Angela around to talk about this issue with you tonight. But we've got friend of the show, Rachel Krause, who does such a great job for us here at 13 News. And we haven't had you back on here the 10 o'clock in a while. I'm really glad that you're back.
Well, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come on back and hang out with you guys.
So this is a subject that, boy, this gets a lot of parents talking about, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's really kind of a sore spot for a lot of parents because you've shelled out hundreds, if not thousands of dollars over the years to pay for your kids' textbooks.
Right.
And for people in Indiana, this has become normal. But in other states, this is absolutely unusual. Indiana's just one of 7 states that forces families to cover the cost of that.
Right.
And some families, that's about $100, $150 a student, and in other districts, it's a lot more. I've talked to some families who are paying $600, $700, even $900 to send their kids back to school.
Right.
And that bill comes at a time when you're paying other costs. You're paying back to school fees, sports enrollment fees, getting those checkups, and it's a really big burden for a lot of families. So year after year, we've seen lawmakers, particularly on the Democratic side, like Senator Jean Breaux, proposing legislation that would essentially eliminate them. And for years, those bills have really gone nowhere. But this year is going to be different, or at least we expect it to be different. And that's because Governor Eric Holcomb has made it a priority with his legislative plans for the upcoming biennium budget. And that's going to make a big impact because now it's getting bipartisan support, which of course has a lot of lawmakers really excited, but mostly a lot of families really excited knowing that they're going to have a very, very easy lift, potentially for the 2023 school year that's coming up. Now, you guys both had to pay these for your kids.
Yes, and it's a lot. And as you pointed out, it comes at a time where you're either buying uniforms, if your kids have uniforms for school, you're buying new clothes, new backpacks, school supplies, and then on top of that, a few weeks later, you get a bill for several $100s.
And you're like, where am I going to pay? Where's that coming from?
And on top of that, now our students have to have iPads and or computers or things like that, or you have to rent them from the school. And I grew up here. My kids grew up here. I had no idea we were one of 7 states.
Yeah, it's
None.
amazing to think. So you've got some reaction tonight from the State House and parents, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was able to sit down with an IPS mother of 2, also with the Community Coalition, talking about the absolute massive burden that this is for a lot of local families, and with one of our lawmakers, a freshman senator to the Indiana State House, who has also served as a principal at an IPS school for a long time. And she says she's seen firsthand the massive amount of heartache this is for families, because for a lot of families who are low income, they qualify qualify for free or reduced textbook costs.
Right.
They have no idea that they can apply to get that waived until after they've gotten the bill, and they cannot afford to meet it.
Do we have a couple of the, a little bit of the interview that you can play for us?
Absolutely. Yeah. We
Okay.
want to check in with Chrissy Smith. She is a mother of 2 IPS kids with a middle schooler and a high schooler, and she says this, especially with inflation, has been absolutely hurtful.
So asking parents to pay that additional money is a huge, huge burden. And especially when we're seeing the cost of everything go up, it's just going to be astronomical for parents to be able to afford that. And it's really going to put a lot of parents in a decision where they have to make those decisions. Can my kid be involved in a sport or do an after-school program, or do I pay for books?
It is federally regulated that we provide a free and appropriate public education. That's the way that the law is written for every single child. And by charging students for textbooks, by charging our families, we are not truly providing a free education in Indiana public schools. And so we've got to rectify that.
And that was incoming freshman Senator Andrea Hundley that you just heard, the IPS principal. She's very, very, very eager to get to work in debating this. She's not expecting much of an uphill battle on this, but there was some debate on this, on who might qualify, who might not qualify, what they would be able to do. But at the end of the day, everyone seems to be pretty fair in that the state has the money to do this.
Right.
And it only costs about $160 million a year, which sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but a drop in the bucket when you're talking about K-12 funding, legislation funding, absolutely something that the state can afford to do.
Okay, so this will be one of the stories that we cover tonight at 11 o'clock, so Rachel will be back tonight. Also want to share a little piece of video from downtown Indianapolis tonight. A couple of the ladies from Channel 13, Anne-Marie Tiernan, Felicia Lawrence, Emily Longnecker, all there for this Indy Maven event. This was billed as an intimate conversation about what it's like to be a woman in the media today. All of our ladies sharing tips and techniques for powerful and effective communities, also giving insight into how to stay unbiased, maintain good mental health, and set boundaries in this line of work. It was very interesting to hear all 3 of the ladies talking about how they got into the business, how they started, how it was a very low-paying profession, and they obviously have stuck with it. They're very successful in their own right. And so I was wondering, from the 2 of you, how'd you end up starting in the business, Rachel?
I didn't think I wanted to do news.
No? Were you a journalism major, or?
I was, and pretty begrudgingly. So I had gone to college thinking I would write children's books.
Oh,
and
I could see you doing that. I can.
yes, and I didn't want a degree in English because I thought, well, I already speak English and I've already got a handle on that, so let's do something else. And I just happened to sign up for the journalism school, and I thought, well, you know, I could write my own stories, or I could write other people's stories that are very true and do that every day. And 10 years later, I'm still doing it.
Yeah,
you were very good at it.
Doing a very good
very,
job.
very, very good.
And how
at
did
it.
you start?
Let's see. Well, I've got both schools covered. If you know my story, I went to IU as a business major, struggled. Thought, I like clothes, I'll change it to apparel merchandising, and then thought, oh, I don't think I want to work necessarily at a mall for the rest of my life. My parents asked me one day in the car, what are you interested in? I said, I love the weather, and they said, you should call Chuck Lofton. I called Chuck Lofton, he answered the phone.
That's the
What?
kind of guy
Yes,
Chuck is.
Rachel.
I
That
didn't
is
know
the kind-
that.
Yes,
Kind of guy Chuck is.
He
Oh,
answered
my
the
gosh.
phone, and
Yep.
he said, you really should change your major. And I said, okay, I will, and I'll go to Purdue. And so I did, and I graduated from Purdue in atmospheric science a few years later.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought I would work at the National Weather Service.
Yes.
But TV18 is a small TV station
Right.
up by Purdue, and they needed somebody to do Sunday night weather for $50. And I said, well, sure, I'd give it a shot. But I thought I would work for the National Weather Service.
Yeah.
And then once, you know, once you're kind of in a business, it's just easy to kind of stay in it.
Right.
So yeah.
We have so many talented women at the station,
nice.
and it was neat that Indy Maven hosted that event tonight and allowed our 3 of our stars, to talk to some other ladies about what it's like to be in the communications business.
And
So-
our morning EP came back and said that's a really great space down there.
great, yeah.
And I haven't been down there, so.
No, I haven't either.
We'll have more of that tonight at 11 o'clock, including a little bit more about the arrival of snow, a little bit of snow.
Yes, a little bit of snow. Rachel doesn't like the cold, so the cold really isn't going to stick around. We've got a few snow showers tomorrow, temperatures in the 30s, but there was a big tornado outbreak.
Yeah, there was.
In Alabama, and some lives lost, so we're going to cover that as well.
Okay, I want to say hello to Fulton joining us tonight. Tammy is with us. Tommy Ice is joining us tonight. Love Tommy.
Related to vanilla?
Not sure. Glenn, Ralph, Anastasia's back with us tonight. Joyce from Versailles, Sherry's with us, and Monica from Lafayette. So good of you to join us here at 10 o'clock. Be sure to join us at 11 o'clock over on 13. We'll see you then. Good night.